Hi friends, welcome to Top 10 Academy. Today we will be dealing with current affairs of November 3rd and 4th. Right. So Indus Valley civilization regarding with Indus Valley civilization. What in news? A study by Indian and Canadian archaeologists has found a dairy products were being produced by the Harappan for as 2500 BCE. The finding reveals that the earliest evidence of dairy production. Okay, so earliest evidence in 2500 BC there were dairy products. The year 2020 also marks the 100 years of discovery of Indus Valley civilization. See, molecular and chemical analysis of residue in the shards of pottery found at the archaeological site of Kotadabadi. Okay, it is in Gujarat. Kotadabadi, it's in Badli, it's in Gujarat. See, traces seen in cooking vessels indicates the presence of milk, which may have been boiled for consumption. Right, there are also remains of the perforated vessels, which indicate processing of milk into different forms. Okay, there were processing of milk, and also milk were boiled milk. It was for consuming. The large herd indicates that milk was produced in surplus so that it could be exchanged, and there could have been some kind of trade between settlements. Through the process called stable isotope analysis, the researchers have also able to identify the cattle used for dairy production. Okay, which were the cattle. So we will discuss what are the cattle. Most of the cattle and water buffalo died at old age, right? So it is suggested that they could have been raised for milk. Okay, old age, so it means they could have been used for milk. The majority of the goat or sheep die when they were young, so means they were used for meat, right? So that was the invention from Indus Valley civilization, right? Next is Mansar Lake Development Plan. What is Mansar Lake Development Plan? Okay, Mansar Lake. See, Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region inaugurated the Mansar Lake Development Plan in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, the project is aimed to attract almost 20 lakh tourists every year. It shall increase employment opportunities also. Then, what is Social Security Code 2020? See, extending the reach of employees, state insurance corporation. First it is, see, effort have been made to improve right to health security under ESIC. Okay, employees state insurance corporation to maximum possible workers. Okay, the facility of the ESICs would now be provided in all 740 districts. At present, this facility now is only in 566 districts. So establishment working in hazardous sector would mandatorily be linked with ESIC even if there is only one worker in it. Right. So if only one worker is it, there should be hazardous. If it is in a hazardous, ESIC should be provided. So insurance should be provided. Provision for making scheme for linking unorganized sector and gig workers with ESIC. Option to link workers for working in plantations is being given to plantation owners. Option for becoming members of ESIC is also being given to establishment with less than 10 workers. Right. So extending the reach of Employees Provident Fund Organization, EPFO. EPFO coverage would be applicable on all establishment having 20 workers. At present, it was applicable only on establishment included in the schedule. Okay, so now it is included in the schedule, but it is as per the law, new law, or coverage would be applicable on all establishment having 20 workers. Okay, option to join EPFO is also being given to establishments having less than 20 workers. So scheme would be formulated for bringing workers coming under the category of self-employed for or falling under other category under the aegis of EPFO. Then provision has been made to formulate various schemes for providing comprehensive social security to workers in unorganized sector. A social security fund will be created on the financial side in order to implement these schemes. So next is work to bring newer forms of employment created with the changing technology like platform worker or gig worker into the ambit of social security has been done in the social security code. Provision for gratuity has been made for fixed term employee, and there would not be any condition for minimum service period for this. Next, Public Affairs Index 2020. See, what is Public Affairs Index 2020? So it is uh, before that, if Kerala was adjudged the best governed state in the large state category, while Uttar Pradesh ended at the bottom. See, index is released by Public Affairs Center. Okay, Public Affairs Center, what it is a not-for-profit organization headed by former Indian Space Research Organization chairman K. Kasturirangan. Right. So, index ranks a state based on governance performance, giving a composite index in the context of sustainable development. Right. In the large state category, at the top four southern state, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Karnataka stood on the first four ranks terms in the governance. At the bottom, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, and Bihar. In the small state category, at the top, Goa is the first, followed by Meghalaya, Himachal Pradesh. The worst performance with the negative points, Manipur, Delhi, Uttarakhand. Union territories, Chandigarh emerged as at the top and category, right, and followed by Puducherry and Lakshadweep. Then Dadar and Nagar Haveli, Andaman Nicobar, and Kashmir and Nicobar were the worst performing states, worst performing union territories. Next is pre-metric scholarship scheme. So why news? Money meant for the poor students under the pre-metric scholarship scheme in Jharkhand has been siphoned off in not reaching and is not reaching the students. Okay, money meant for the poor people that's not reaching the students. That's why it is in news. So what it is? Exactly, it is a centrally funded scholarship scheme for students in all states, which opens every year and has to be applied between August and November. Right, aim. What is the aim of the scheme? It is to help the student minority communities, including Muslims, Christians, Sikh, Parsis, Jains, and Buddhists from families with annual income below 1 lakh. Right, eligibility criteria. Students need to score at least 50% of their class exams. So structure of the scholarship, it is given in 2 tiers every year. Students in class 1 to 5 are as 1000 per year. Students class 6 to 10, 10,700 for the hosteler and 5,700 for the day scholar. That is the structure of the scholarship. Next, Bandhu. See, Bandhu scheme. The Union Minister of State for Education launched a self-help website, that is Bandhu for students of IIT Bombay. So it was been designed in conjunction with the counselors of IIT Bombay along with external experts. It addresses challenges ranging from adjustments to college life, academics, stress, and mental health. Bandhu has have curated reads, motivational alumni journeys, expert podcasts, and tool for self-exploration. Next is 13th edition of Aero India. Okay, 13th edition of Aero India will be held from February 3rd to 7th, 2021 at Air Force Station, Yelahanka, Karnataka. It is in Karnataka, Yelahanka. Aero India is a biennial international military and civil air show. Okay, International Military and Civil Air Show. It is a premier event that draws international and military, Indian military and civil aircraft makers, their support industries, military brass, and government dignitaries and business visitors. The Yelahanka Air Base is about 30 kilometers from the city center Bengaluru, has been hosting the air show February since it was started in 1996. Right. The 2021 Aero India will be organized by the Defense Exhibition Organization to the Ministry of Defense. Right. It is organized by Defense Exhibition Organization, Ministry of Defense. Next is Ganga Utsav 2020. See, Ganga Utsav 2020, it began, which celebrates the glory of the national river Ganga. Okay, so it is begun to celebrate the glory of national river Ganga. See, Ganga was declared as national river in 4th November 2008. National Mission for Clean Ganga celebrates this festival every year. See, National Mission for Clean Ganga, we know, is an implementation wing of National Ganga Council, which was set up in 2016, which replaced the National Ganga River Basin Authority. Okay, this is a 3-day festival, aims to promote stakeholder enjoyment and ensure public participation. It celebrates mystical and cultural river Ganga through storytelling, folklore, dialogues with eminent personalities, quizzes, then displaying traditional art forms, dance, music, performance by renowned and artists, photo galleries and exhibitions, and much more. Next is Mission Sagar 2. As per the Mission Sagar 2, the government of India providing assistance to friendly foreign countries. Okay, friendly foreign countries will be assisted by the government of India in natural calamities and in the case of COVID pandemic. Okay, towards the same, INS Airavat is delivering food to Sudan. Okay, so INS Airavat is delivering food to people in Sudan. See, Mauritius, Madagascar, Comoros and Seychelles along the La Union are the part of the Indian Ocean Commission, and India has recently become an observer in the commission. Right. See, assistance is in the line with India's role as a first responder in the Indian Ocean region. Okay, the deployment is also in consonance with the Prime Minister's vision of security and growth for all the region. That means Sagar, right? So security and growth for all the regions. Earlier, India had sent Indian naval ship INS Kesari as a carrying food items and medical assistance teams to countries in the southern Indian Ocean to deal with COVID pandemic as a part of the Mission Sagar initiative. Okay. Next is 10th one, Vigilance Awareness Week 2020. It's from 27 October 2020 to 2nd November 2020. Okay, the theme is Satark Bharat, Samruddh Bharat. That means Vigilant India, Prosperous India. Okay, that's enough. Vigilant India, Prosperous India. That was a theme. Next is Chronic Traumatic Encephalopathy. What is that? Chronic traumatic encephalopathy. See, it is a disease that causes severe damage to the brain because of the repeated injuries and is linked to memory loss, depression and dementia. Right. So mainly these boxing persons and football persons, they may be affected with this. So we will discuss. Former boxers are mostly commonly diagnosed with it. See, why there have been instances of CTE in many other contact sports like pro wrestling, mixed martial arts, ice hockey, rugby, baseball, Australian rules football and football. Dementia is a general form of loss of memory, language, problem solving and other thinking abilities that are severe enough to interfere with daily life. Okay, so Alzheimer's is the most common cause of dementia. Right, so this is chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Right. Next is Maharani Jindal. See, why is in news that we will be discussing in the last. See, here is the news. Why is she is in news? So this is the news. Her auction of some of her jewelries at Bunham's Islamic and Indian Arts. Okay, and it was sale in London earlier this week. That's why she was in news. So we'll discuss about her, Maharani Jindal Kaur. See, she was the youngest wife of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Okay, so who waged an unending struggle against the British, and she was a mother of Maharaja Duleep Singh, and the last ruler of the Sikh Empire, right? Who was raised by the British. Okay, he was only 5 years old at that point of time. The Sikh Empire of Maharaja Ranjit Singh was spread from Kabul to Kashmir and the borders of Delhi. Okay, that was the big empire was. So Duleep Singh was only 5 years old when he was placed on the throne in 1843. So after the death of two heirs of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, so the British declared war on Sikh Empire in December 1845. After their victory in the First Anglo-Sikh War, they retained Duleep Singh as the ruler but imprisoned Rani Jindal. The British campaign against her was vicious, describing her as a prostitute. Right. So that was her, and she was in the prison. In a dramatic prison break on April 19 or 1849 from Chunar Fort, Uttar Pradesh, Rani Jindal dressed in beggars rags and fled. Right. And she went to Kathmandu in 1849 and she was given asylum by Jung Bahadur, the Prime Minister. Right, this she passed away in her sleep on August 1st, 1863, 2 years after she walked into the Kensington Gardens, 1861. Okay, in 1863 she passed away. That's about it. So this date no need to mention, but what this date it is important. 1861 she passed away. So Chunar Fort somewhat important. So that's important. Okay, that's about the today's class. Thank you.